Morning. Mountain tree, Hori Hori. Mountain tree. I looked on the YouTubes and there wasn't a single video that was dedicated to mountain tree Hori. So let's take a look at them. Now I'm going to contrast it with the ML tools that you've already seen. A nicely crafted knife, garden knife. This is not a disappointment. It's got a nice ergonomic handle. It's been used in heavy soils with rocks, and I would have to give this a thumbs up. And once again, I will say it's nice to have a sheath. They can be on your belt, so you're not going to just leave them under a big weed and lose them. Nice unit. Now, that's my wife Deb's. I purchased a mountain tree. Made in Oregon, made in the US. It's nice. And basically the same blade. These things, I believe, were originally made out of bamboo, and that's kind of the shape of these things. Now, there are points of this Hori Hori that I really like, and there are points that I think need to be addressed. The first, the nice point, I like the wooden handle. Now, it could be a little more rounded, but hey, we're able to do that on our own. Just stock with that kind of rectangle handle, pretty comfortable. I don't think that that's going to be bothersome. It's just aesthetically, I might round it to make it nice. The steel, the same thickness, I believe. Maybe a little different, but visually it looks the same. Full tang, 3 rivets, a nicely crafted unit. It has bigger marks. Some of them have blackened in there so you can see it, I guess, if you're night gardening, but even with my eyesight, that is not a drawback, not having black in those. I suppose you could always spray paint it and then find sandpaper, remove the spray paint from everything but those indented portions, but whatever. It's perfectly adequate. Now, the one drawback I see, what are the differences looking at the blade? Yep, you called it. This has an even size, even diameter in the serrations. Easy to sharpen with a chainsaw file. Now remember that. The mountain tree, it has a good size one could be sharpened with a chainsaw file, and then 2 little tiny ones. Now, the positive of this one is initially, before a lot of use, it's going to be sharper. It's going to be able to cut through roots. But this one works, and it's easier to sharpen. I'm actually going to I'm going to email Mountain Tree and say, you know what? You're basing your cut basically on the cut of the serrations on consumer appeal. It's like, that looks sharper. However, it's going to be harder to keep sharpened, so maybe you should rethink it and go this route. See, I think ahead. And that's the mountain tree. This is going to last a long time. Sure, you could break anything, but you don't need to wedge these between rocks and stomp on them. Now, as far as the sheath, I like the mountain tree sheath. I like the leather. Although this one works nicely, I don't anticipate any problems. I do like the leather. Now, if you were to lose, going back to the Hori Hori, if you were to lose them under weeds and you found them a year later, this one, the ML tools would probably survive a little better than this one, because the wood, you don't want to leave it outdoors or lose it in your compost bin and then find it when you're mulching your compost. You have to be a little careful not to lose this one, but we do like our wood, and I do like this. Will I round the handle? Probably. I know me, so I'm going to customize it. But yeah, it's a really nice unit. They're both about 35, 40 bucks. So comparable. But I don't know about these serrations. Maybe I'll find like a little tiny file so I can file those in, but it's going to be a pain in the butt to keep this thing sharpened, where this is easy. Touch it up with a chainsaw file. So mountain tree, if you're watching this, change your serrations. Change your serrations. I know you want it to look wicked and and get people to buy it because, oh, that looks sharp. Keep in mind, if you've got a root-bound plant that you popped out of the container and you need to free up the roots so they can spread, this one will work. It's perfectly adequate. You don't need to have like a super complex cut to make it work. I think in terms of long distance, and definitely having the same size diameter cut in the serration will be an advantage over time. And we buy good tools so they will last over time. Now a note, I'm going to delve into another subject. My antique, over 100-year-old Stevens Arms and Tool Company Model 235. I'm going to have the gunsmithy, I'm going to have them shorten it down to 22 inches. I'm not going to go to 18 1/4, the minimum. I think going from 32 inches to 22 will be perfectly adequate. I am looking forward to receiving that, my little baby, so I can test it out. But that's about it. Hori Hori time. Have a good one. Thank you for watching. Both very good units.